This is the most blatant stimulus package bailout I have ever seen Adam Silver ever do. You're telling me Nico Harrison, who did the most blunderous trade in probably NBA history, gets bailed out at a 1.8% chance of getting the number one pick when they have never won the lottery?
Let's start off at the top, and that would be the Warriors in the playoffs again. And this is this. They're playing Minnesota. They're down 2 games to 1. They get the first game W in Minnesota. That was an 11-point win. But Steph Curry pulled his left hamstring with about 8 minutes left in the second quarter. He did not return. The following day, reports had him out for at least 1 week, depending on how the rehab goes. This makes his earliest possible return for Game 5, which is this coming Wednesday. And
I
since the
will have it
injury,
be said though, he did do some warm up and some cardio work the other day. So
yeah, he it wasn't at full speed yet. And hamstrings are notoriously tough because you think it's healed and then it's not, and when you do it that second time, it's even worse and it takes even longer and you got to be even more careful. So it is a very peculiar high wire act that we're on right now. How long do you make him rest versus you need him clearly because the Warriors have dropped the games 2 and 3, and they're playing tonight. If they if they don't get the win tonight at home in Game 4, that is a world of hurt. That game tips off at 7 o'clock as well. For those of you who weren't quite aware. So just real quick on Game 3, which was on Saturday. That's the first. In the first half, they had 0 3 points field goals made. That's the first time since the first round of the 2007 playoffs in the We Believe season versus Dallas. They ended up winning that game by 5. They led by 2 at halftime. Draymond fouled out. They lost by 5, excuse me, and then they were leading it by 2 at halftime. Draymond fouled out with just under 5 minutes remaining in that game as well, and there was just a 4 minute a scoring drought. Uh, Jimmy got to 33 points, but none of them came in the final 8 minutes of the game. I think he was just tired and the legs just weren't there. He's still probably healing from that bone bruise, the butt bruise from the first round. So it's just I don't know. Kuminga chipped in 30 points as well, right? In Game 3, and it's we need more of that from him tonight. But we need Podziemski to not go 1 from 10. That'll help a lot if he has a little bit of a better night tonight. And I mean, you only lost by 5, so
I
like
still say,
without
man,
Steph,
like
mm,
defensively, the Warriors are playing pretty sound. I
yeah,
think what's really sucking is that you're playing a game almost every single game, and they've been doing it for over 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So that's hard, especially when you're the older team. That's really hard.
mhm,
I have no doubts that they could pull a win out. It's just it's going to take every ounce of effort to do it, and I don't think Minnesota's offense is that mind blowing, crazy
right.
offense. Say the like OKC's or Denver's offense that just can blow a team out of the water. I don't think Minnesota's offense is that explosive, and it's going to take a full team effort tonight. Like, yeah, you may get 10 points out of Podziemski, but if he's playing sound defense, if GP2 can play an ounce of defense that he played in 2022, I think you have a really good chance of pulling out a game here. I don't like the whole mantra of a must win, every game's a must win, to be
Yeah,
honest with
this
you.
is the
But
playoffs. Yeah,
if you're going to consider must win, this is your last time to have a true home court advantage that I think you could get this game, right? If you have to play a game 6 here and banking that you just don't lose that game, I think it's more pins and needles. Like, this is the one you got to get this one. Going back to Minnesota, and which I would argue and say is probably one of the loudest arenas I've heard outside of Oracle back in the day. it's actually wonderful to see and wonderful to witness. So
Yeah.
I get it, Minnesota.
Everybody likes the Timberwolves. Anthony
Yeah.
Edwards.
There was a little bit of racial issues going on, but I mean, outside of the bad apples, I'd say they're pretty good fans, and they show up for their team. So I like it, and it's refreshing to see.
Yeah, like so far, like watching these games, I agree with what you guys are saying. I definitely think something was bothering Jimmy Butler's tailbone, and that's why he wasn't really trying to finish. I think he was scared of taking a spill and maybe, I mean, obviously the pain, but also damaging the injury even more. Last game, I thought he was doing a little bit better job at finishing, but some of these guys, they gotta do their part, as teammates that have to step up. So I think like you're absolutely right where tonight is going to be a team game. I think there is going to be a Warrior that gets hot at the three. But Jimmy and Jonathan Kuminga, they need to go at the cup, get fouls. Like that's how you have to attack. Like those two guys have to attack. Draymond has to attack. And then Pods and if you're not shooting, attack the rim. Like get fouls, get their bigs off the floor. So that's what I'm looking for. I think they're going to get the win tonight. I think they're going to defend home court. It's definitely going to be a close game, as every Warriors game always is. And as for Curry, man, I don't know if we're going to see him this series, but it's probably going to be 6 and 7. If he is, if you're going to see him, it's going to be those games. So
I said it. Yeah.
Warriors in 7. I'm sticking to my guts.
Yeah. I said Warriors in 6. That means they got to start winning the rest of the rest of the series. And that starts tonight, obviously. Kevon Looney needs to do better than 6 fouls in 18 minutes. I'll say that. And he's going to end up being important, playing important Gobert minutes, going forward.
I also think TJD could get some run, man. I mean, he's got the freshest legs. No offense to Looney. Looney has been an absolute cornerstone for the Warriors dynasty that we've witnessed over the years. But, I mean, it looked like TJD was pretty sound defensively. It's going to be hard to stop Gobert. He's 7'5". I mean, you're not going to have a real chance to out-rebound him. He's going to win some rebounds. It's just going to happen. But throwing more bodies at him, especially ones that have fresher legs, I think that sounds like a formula to maybe have some success. So I wouldn't be shocked if you see more minutes out of TJD and kind of take some of the minutes away from maybe possibly Draymond, maybe possibly taking some of the minutes away from Looney. You know what I mean? So
Moody, Moody needs to step up too. I have not seen Moody hit a knockdown 3 in a couple of weeks now, it feels like.
Yeah. Draymond is 2 technicals away from a suspension. He's also 2 flagrant foul points away from a suspension as well. So if he gets a flagrant 2 tonight, like he's gone for game 5, and obviously would be gone for tonight if that happens. But even still, like even just a flagrant 1, like I just need him to bring it back in, like just on this side of the line, we know that he's somebody that he plays on the line, right? And sometimes playing on the line means you go over the line a little bit here and there. But he's been going over the line a little bit too much. So we need him to just rein it back in like 7%. Just bring it back just a little bit. And but that way he can still keep his edge and stay effective and stay on the court. I think a huge part of the reason why the Warriors lost the game is because he wasn't available for the last 5 minutes of the game.
Absolutely.
If he was able, and it was that sequence too was he drew a charge, but then they overturned it right into into an offensive foul, like or blocking foul.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So
which gave him 5 at that point.
Which gave him 5, and then he immediately on defense takes the foul, and it was a soft foul called for that 6th one, but the Warriors didn't have a challenge left at that point either, so you couldn't challenge it, and so you just got to be smarter. He has to be smarter situationally, knowing that there's no more left. There's no more wiggle room left. So
yeah. The Warriors also got to like just execute in the fourth quarter, man. That was like such a painful fourth quarter because they went like 6 minutes without a point or something like that.
It was definitely 4, but it felt like 44. Like
yeah,
it was
and then Jimmy was 1 for 6, I think. 1 for 6, 1 for 7 in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. And no points in the final 8 for him.
Right. Like somebody's gotta score in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Amen.
So I do think they're going to come out with that energy. I think they're going to come out with that dog mentality, and they're going to attack at all fronts and claw out a win. Mm-hmm. They're going to be digging deep in that old man strength.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to see a little bit more selfishness, and instead of when you're driving to the cup, if you've got an open shot, instead of dishing it out for a 3, take the 2 sometimes, not every time to become predictable, but often enough that they have to actually defend you when you're driving the net,
The number one takeaway is get a shot up every possession. It don't matter, if you running out the clock or if you having a drive in, get a shot
some of the
up.
Turnovers.
Yeah, right. Have a chance to maybe have a whistle being called. Maybe you get a rebound, and then all of a sudden you're in position to get an easy bucket. You got to get a shot up, though. You got to make their defense work. And by just running out the clock like they did multiple times last game, you're not helping anyone at that point except for helping out the Timberwolves.
Let me ask you this, though. Like in comparison to the Rockets series, where, in the Rockets, there was runs where the Warriors didn't look good, right? They looked gassed. They looked like for segments. Like in comparison to the Warriors against the Timberwolves, even though the Warriors lost, like I don't see the gap isn't that far apart.
It's not.
I still feel like they could have won.
They could have won both of the 2 previous games.
Right.
They definitely could have won the previous 2 games. And I think, it doesn't help when you don't score for 4 minutes in the previous game. But even the game before that, there was just so many blunders, defensive miscues on, whether it be Kuminga missing an assignment or TJD missing an assignment, you know what I mean? So you got to clean up, but you don't have time to do it. Like there's really no time for them to practice. I guarantee you they probably haven't practiced in 2 weeks. They probably had enough time for a shoot around and some film session, but there has not been time for practice. You just don't.
You're not implementing much new stuff at this point, especially
you don't even have the rest.
Especially when you don't have the rest. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's going to be tough. It's old man strength, like you say, but you're going to have to dig down deep. And I don't know where you're going to find the inspiration. I can see where maybe some of the guys that are vets on this team could find that inspiration. But as far as everybody else, you got to find something. Dig deep, go to the memory banks, whatever you got to remind yourself that you got to push through, and you got to stay poised at the same time here. So it's gonna be a tough game. I do think it's gonna be a close game, or as they say, a clutch game. But nonetheless, I think the Warriors have a really good chance of pulling this one out tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Game 6 is where most of the people talking think Steph will be like actually available, is what it sounds like right now. There's a shot at Game 5, and I don't know though. Like if it's a 2-2 series, I think that they roll the dice and let him rest. If they're down 3-1, I think they have to bring Steph back and just hope for the best for Game 5. If they want to keep the season going beyond a gentleman's sweep in the second round. So that's I think that's where it's at. If you win tonight, Steph can rest until Game 6. I wouldn't love that situation. I would love to have him for Game 5, but if he needs it, you can let that happen. If they lose, I think Steph almost is going to force his way into the lineup, and then if the hammy goes in the middle of Game 5, it goes, and you deal with it then at that point. But so far they're 1-0 in games where Steph blows his hammy. So I don't know what else to say. Hide your straws because I'm grasping, baby. Let's go. Yeah. So I think with that said, obviously game 4 is tonight, 7 p.m. Game 5 is Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. tip. Game 6 will be Sunday if necessary. Hope it is necessary. And game 7, if that happens, that would be next Tuesday. So if we get to the point where there is a game 7, we will talk about it then. If not, we will have the conclusion of this series wrapped up, and we can talk about it at that point next week. So,
Right on.
Let's now just talk the playoffs in general. Right now, as I look up, Boston is leading the New York Knicks in game 4. They are up by 12 as a free throw is sunk by Boston. I don't know who's up there shooting free throws right now. I just happened to glance up at that exact moment and saw the free throw go down. But so they are also down 2-1 after losing both games at home in Boston. They then win game 3 down in New York, and they're leading game 4 right now. So oops, all visitors in that series. Let's see. Cleveland and Indiana. Indiana is up 3-1.
That's been a shocking series.
That is shock. Yeah, shocking is a great word for it. Cleveland was, kind of penciled into the Eastern Conference Finals, but right now they are in a world of hurt. They need some of that 2016 magic to get back into that series.
Well, it's not going to work, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think Tyrese Halliburton's kicking anybody in the nutsack. Yeah.
I don't think Tyrese Halliburton has put his nutsacks onto somebody's head too, and drawing them to get ejected from a game in a series.
Yeah, that too. That's the other thing. And then OKC and Denver, they're tied 2 games apiece, so that's a bit of a dogfight as well. Looking forward to seeing how that one plays out.
Yeah, I would say in that series, man, if you do not like how players get officiated, that is going to be the most frustrating series, because obviously SGA is getting calls, but there were some issues last night where SGA was getting a call and then Jokic would do the exact same play on the other side and not get a call, So,
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you, man. Keep looking at the Vegas betting odds because they'll tell you what the final score is going to be, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So each team is 1-1 at home in that series so far as they head back to Oklahoma City for game 5, which will be tomorrow, I believe. Yeah. So that's what's happening in the rest of the playoffs. Let's move on to just the NBA in general. We had the NBA draft lottery that wrapped up about an hour ago, little over an hour ago. So, man, Nico Harrison has got to be pouring all kinds of shots right now because the draft lottery just saved his ass. The Dallas Mavericks, with a 1.8% chance at winning the draft lottery, they end up with the number 1 overall pick. I said it before we started recording that being a Dallas Mavericks fan, like you're obviously you're happy, you're thrilled, you get the number 1 pick. You're about 98% happy, but also 2% pissed off that Nico Harrison's getting away with it, man. Like I just
guys,
they shouldn't have been in this situation to begin with, but yeah.
Guys, yeah, this is the most blatant stimulus package bailout I have ever seen Adam Silver ever do. You're telling me Nico Harrison, who did the most blunderous trade in probably NBA history, gets bailed out at a 1.8% chance of getting the number 1 pick when they have never won the lottery? I mean, if I could put collusion everywhere on the screen, I would show it to you. That is absurd. You know what the moral of the story is?
Ruxin.
You know what the moral of the story is? Just trade your star player to the Lakers and you get the number 1 pick. Look at the New Orleans Pelicans. They traded Anthony Davis, and then all of a sudden,
no. See, it's not trade your star player. It's you have to trade Anthony Davis.
So Anthony Davis is the key of a 1.
He's the key. Anthony Davis needs to be involved in the trade somehow.
Thing I've ever heard, man.
So
Nico Harrison must have done a deal with the devil and Adam Silver in this case and said, all right, I will be the scapegoat. You can rake me against the coals and media as long as you give me that number 1 pick. Here we go, man.
Yeah. So here's how we make it.
He's going to be like, now that we're healthy, we got all these guys back, and you add Cooper Flagg. That's a championship team.
Yeah. No. See,
caliber.
Yeah. So here's how we make this work for us. We put together a 3-team package where we get Giannis, and then Anthony Davis goes to Milwaukee, and then I don't know. Maybe that's a sign and trade with Kuminga ends up in Dallas or something. I don't know, but that's how you make that work, and we end up with Giannis. That's how the devil magic can work for us. That's I'm gonna.
With Giannis being being receptive to being traded, and if you really want Kuminga to ball out tonight, guys, like you really want, if this goes, like you want Kuminga to ball out because a sign and trade. That's the only way it's going to happen.
No, the script has already been written. Okay, Nico Harrison's gonna get the number 1 pick. Okay, just this morning, Giannis has come out and said that he's really interested in joining a team that doesn't have state income tax. Texas doesn't have state income tax. What's also interesting is that Dallas Mavericks went out of the way to make sure that they signed Giannis's brother. Interesting. The script has always been written. He's going to go to Dallas. Anthony Davis is going to be partnered up with him. Kyrie Irving's going to show up middle of the season and be prime Kyrie Irving for some stupid reason. And they're going to have Cooper Flagg. Championship team. Done and done. It's rigged. It's absolutely rigged at this point. I'm telling you right now, Adam Silver, you ain't slick. If you want to be slick, do it how the NHL does it and have the stupid balls be shown on TV. Ain't no way you're going to rig that one. Ridiculous.
You're saying Giannis is going to be on the Mavericks with
going to be on the Mavericks. Davis. Yep. It's going to happen.
Okay. While you're working on your tinfoil hat with that,
you're on an island, brother.
I don't know about that.
I'm not the only one.
If it happens,
the same thing. Windhurst said, interesting that they signed his brother in the offseason here. Yeah, I'm not the only one on this island here, okay?
Oh, okay. All right, sure. One other side note, NBC is getting the NBA back after a 23-year absence. That being said, they are starting to announce some of the new hires, and a big one they announced is a special contributor. His name is Michael Jeffrey Jordan, I believe is how you pronounce it. Have you heard of him before? Yeah, pretty good guy.
He's
pretty good
special
name.
Contribute while he's on the golf course smoking a cigar.
That's right. Raking in all that Haynes money,
Yeah.
That's a huge get, obviously. Michael Jordan hasn't done really anything with any network since he retired, basically, right? The last time. He's just because he was in ownership with Charlotte for a while, and he's just kind of just doing his own thing. But now he's going to be talking ball on NBC off and on as a special contributor, which means he'll just show up whenever he feels like it. I think
whenever he needs to pay off a gambling debt, he'll just show up.
I didn't say that. Get the foil ready.
Oh, funny. You just flew in from Vegas? Yeah, come on.
He's working on being the expansion team owner there. Maybe we'll see. Yeah. That's what's happening here. Yeah, that's why he was in Vegas. Yeah, there we go. Aha! Excuses. All right. So I think unless there's anything else we got to talk about the men's side, I think we're ready to switch this over to a women's sports podcast for the next little bit. We got the Valkyries. They have had their 2 preseason games this past week. They ended up losing the first game to the Sparks by 1 point. They made the final 3-point shot to close the gap to 1 as time expired. So they were playing hard through the end of the game, even though they was out of reach. So I like that. They looked a little bit sloppy, a little bit out of sorts. Carla Late, I think is how you say her name. I'm still working on that. She's from France. She looked she looks ready to go. Like Valerie Burton's been a little bit of a disappointment in the preseason. Maybe that's just her trying things and stuff. She's a veteran, so a little bit more wiggle room there. Caitlin Chen's on the bubble. They haven't announced who's going to make the final roster or not.
I don't think she makes it, man. As much as I am a big fan of her, I don't think she makes the roster. When you're trying to fill out those 11 spots there, man, I just don't think she makes it.
Yeah, it's going to be close. But there's also going to be times during the season where they're going to need to sign extra players here and there, especially with the European championship happening later this summer. So the Valkyries could lose as many as 6 or 7 players to that. So there'll be plenty of times for her to get at least some real WNBA action if she doesn't make the initial roster. Cheyenne Sellers, the second round pick, was cut. I don't recall if we talked about it last week or not, but she was cut and she ended up landing claimed off waivers by Atlanta. So she gets to go.
Atlanta cut her today,
and then Atlanta cut her as well. Since then, I didn't see that part of it.
They waived her today.
Yeah. So breaking news again. So I mean, I don't know. Something's up with the injury, maybe. So we'll see if she can get better and get healed, and wherever she ends up, I hope
it's that knee, man.
Out.
It just unfortunately, and we said about this earlier today. There's just not a development league in the WNBA, so a lot of times these players who, could be hurt or a fringe player, they don't get to stay on your team's roster, nor do they have an opportunity to go to a development league to either, let's say, rehab the injury to get back onto a team or just be on a team's roster so they can be shelved, So
right.
Hopefully one comes about. I don't know when, but it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the league as a whole, they're gonna be expanding another 2 teams next season. So the Valkyries are the 13th team. They'll be up to 15 by 2026, and I believe the plan is to be at 16 teams by 2028. And they have about a dozen cities that have submitted bids to become that 16th city. So there's no shortage of interest from cities to have a WNBA team, and perhaps that, creating a developmental league of like 6 or 8 teams, maybe that's a way to help some of the smaller cities that maybe don't get that 16th team right away. That maybe that's a way to maybe get them some professional women's basketball, and also help the WNBA get stronger as well. So after
the NFL, they got the practice squads. Like, you have like some type of practice squad, and when the teams play each other, your practice squad players like play against theirs, and like some type of practice squad tournament.
Right. Yeah. Something. Yeah. Yeah. They did get a win on Sunday at the Phoenix Mercury. The Phoenix had a lot of turnover. Diana Taurasi retired after 22 seasons or something like that. And Brittany Griner left and went to Atlanta. So they're kind of trying to figure it out a little bit too. Although they did bring in a couple of players. I'm blanking on it from Connecticut. I'm blanking on her name. But anyway, the point is Phoenix is going to be an interesting story as well, just seeing how they react to losing everybody and going forward from there. So I did look at The Athletic did put out their power rankings for the WNBA heading into this season. Right now, as it stands, the Valkyries are sitting 11th out of 13. That doesn't totally shock me. They're an expansion team. But when you lose, but the teams that are below them are Connecticut and Washington in the power rankings. Connecticut had a mass exodus, a ton of players left. So that's why they're down below the Valkyries. And then the Washington Mystics, they're there's a lot of young rookies. Like they had like 3 draft picks in the first round or something like that. So there was a lot of young players, unproven players there as well. So that's kind of why they're down that low as well. Yeah. So that's kind of where the Valkyries sit as the season begins. We have the season opener Friday, 7 p.m. They're playing the LA Sparks at home. So that I've ordered my hat. I hope the hat comes in time. I think it will. They gave free expedited shipping for me, so hopefully that hat shows up just in time for me to throw that bad boy on Friday.